Hello. I'm sorry if I offend anyone, but I will not hide the truth. These quotes are from Jamaican citizens. These quotes are from Jamaican citizens. The training and constant readiness for our purpose makes the JDF capable of performing diverse national roles, which includes, principally, to defend Jamaica against external aggression and internal civil disorder, to provide military aid to the civil authorities, namely relating to restoration/maintenance of law and order, counter-narcotics operations, search and rescue (SAR), casualty evacuation, humanitarian and disaster relief operations, defense diplomacy, nation-building projects, contingency planning, and state ceremonial duties, maintaining the integrity of Jamaica's waters and airspace by demonstrating sovereignty over the territorial space and protecting the rights and interests in the maritime and aeronautical areas of jurisdiction, including marine environment and fisheries protection. Counter-terrorism operations by monitoring and analyzing potential terrorist activities, and preventing or responding to terrorist incidents, including chemical, biological, radiological and nuclear (CBRN) detection, explosive ordnance disposal (EOD), and improvised explosive device disposal (IDD).
The JDF has a lot of different types of vehicles. Their current armored personnel carrier is the V-150 Commando. Surprisingly though, they only have about 3 of them that is currently in operation, and the rest of the ones that are not working are thrown down rusting in a park camp. That's not a good thing. They, however, should be receiving at least 12 armored personnel carriers beginning 2015. The JDF does not have any armored SUVs to use during their daily operations on the street. That is not good. Their neighbor, the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force, will be receiving 15 armored personnel carrier and 20 armored SUVs. That is definitely a good thing. The JDF also has other non-armored vehicles. These vehicles are not military vehicles but are just regular vehicles that they have to patrol the streets. And as I said before, they don't currently have any armored SUVs to properly protect their soldier during their daily and intense duties on the street. What they do to improvise for the armor is to strap a few sandbags on the vehicle that would only provide 5% of security. The standard weapons of the Jamaica Defense Force can be considered satisfactory. The main weapon that the soldiers patrol with is the M16 assault rifle. They also have British Model SA-80 assault rifle as well as the self-loading rifle SLR, mag footnote all-purpose machine gun, Browning pistol and grenade launchers. It is not the type of grenade launcher that can be mounted to the assault rifle. The most powerful gun that the JDF has is the 50 caliber machine gun that is used on the Coast Guard vessels. The infantry doesn't use the 50 calibers machine gun, they use the all-purpose machine gun. The overall most powerful weapon in the JDF's artillery is the Royal Ordnance L16 and SBML 2-inch mortar.
The Coast Guard is the sea part of the JDF. The JDF has 3 main vessels: Her Majesty's Jamaica's ship HMJ Surrey, Cornwall and Middlesex. They also have other smaller boats. The Port Royal is the headquarters of the JDF Coast Guard. A female is the current commanding officer of the Coast Guard. Their main weapon on the HMJ's vessels is the 50 caliber machine gun, 2 on each HMJ's vessel.
The primary role of the JDF Air Wing is supporting the infantry in military operations, thus providing air mobility to virtually any location in the region. The Air Wing provides operational support to the Jamaica Constabulary Force Police, primarily in the form of aerial surveillance. The unit conducts drug eradication in an ongoing operation code-named Operation Buccaneer, the main effort being to destroy plantations of illegal marijuana plants. The JDF Air Wing has only approximately 14 helicopters and fixed-wing aircrafts. They don't have any combat aircrafts. Most of their aircrafts are regular small aircrafts. They don't have any large special troop carrying aircrafts. The Air Wing headquarters is in Up Park Camp. These are some opinions of what I think the government can do to improve certain areas of the JDF. Some of what I am about to say was also referred to me by two of my close commissioned officer friends who I will keep anonymous. 1. For the infantry, the government needs to buy the infantry some armored sport utility vehicles, SUVs for their soldiers to use during intense periods. Strapping sandbags to the vehicles cannot stop all bullets from the enemy that might be coming from all directions. I visited many countries across the world and have visited and done research on each country's militaries. 90% of the countries I visited, including Caribbean countries, have a good supply of patrol armored sport utility vehicles. The receiving of the 12 new armored personnel carriers in 2015 needs to come quicker. You cannot only have approximately just 3 armored personnel carriers to use in the whole island. Does the infantry need to be called out for every little thing? Example, during lottery scam operations, do you need to have so many soldiers to go on that operation with the police? Is it because most days the infantry soldiers have nothing to do? 2. For the Coast Guard, the number one problem I have with the JDF Coast Guard is the location of their main vessels. There are 3 main ships, which are the HMJs Surrey, Cornwall and Middlesex, and located in one area, which is Port Royal. So if this ship is needed immediately in Hanover, it could take hours before it reaches there. The government needs to attain at least 2 or 3 more HMJs vessels. When this happens, the ships can be spread out further across the island. The JDF Coast Guard headquarters is Port Royal, with outstations located in Discovery Bay, Pedro Keys, Port Morant, Black River and Port Antonio. These outstations have, however, just 1 or 2 tiny boats. The Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard has a good number of vessels with the same type of weapon as the JDF on them. Trinidad also has a landing craft that is a bit larger than the JDF HMJ's vessels. The JDF doesn't have any landing craft. 3. For the Air Wing is one of the best arms of the force according to my commissioned officer friend, who is a member of the Air Wing, which I will keep him anonymous to prevent him from prosecution. However, he says it would be nice for the JDF to receive a couple new modern aircraft. He compared it to the Trinidad Defense Force Air Guard, which he says has the modern Aegis-style 139 helicopters, S-76 helicopters and MBB-Bo 100. Jamaica is not a large country, so no one would expect the JDF to be big. The JDF has approximately 3,900 members. Approximately 390 of them are from the Coast Guard and the rest is from the Air Wing and the Army. The Jamaica Defense Force is one of the best trained force in the Caribbean. Some members of neighbor militaries sometimes conduct training exercises with the JDF with JDF training instructors. Enlisted soldiers of the Jamaica Defense Force do 5 months of training at the historical Newcastle training camp up in the cold and scary hills of Kingston and Street Andrew. Commandant officers are do their basic training at Newcastle also during their selection process, and if selected, they're sent with one of many officer training academy colleges overseas. Example, Royal Military Academy Sandhurst, England, and Britannia Naval College, England. The Jamaica Constabulary Force and the JDF does similar patrol operations on a regular day. They use basically the same type of guns. The police, however, does more work on a daily basis. including investigations. The police force is the first response force, as in, when a crime occurs, the police is the first to be notified, and if they need support, they will sometimes call the JDF. But the police deals with the main investigations after the crime. The Jamaica police force is more than 2 times the size of the JDF. JDF is approximately 3,900 members and the police force currently has approximately 10,000 members. The possibility of an all-out war with Jamaica and another state is very low. According to some Jamaican citizens, the way the JDF handled the Tivoli incursion in 2010 in that community, they believe the JDF would struggle if the whole island should go under war due to invasion of another similar country, example Trinidad. The JDF Coast Guard would not fully be able to stop the enemy from entering the island because they are under-equipped. The Coast Guard can hardly even stop all the drugs and gun smuggling and entering in the island daily. If an overwhelming powerful country though should try to attack Jamaica, Jamaica would receive support from either the United States, Britain or even Canada. Even though the JDF says they can defend themselves against a nuclear, biological and chemical attack, they cannot do it. We will need help from a more powerful ally capable of dealing with those. Jamaica Defense Force doesn't have any air missile defense systems, so we would be vulnerable if a more overwhelming country would attack us from the air with missiles. Jamaica has no missiles. Jamaica is not a rich country, so the JDF is not at fault when it comes on to their lack of equipments. The government is at fault. Jamaica needs to improve. My country Trinidad is a richer country, so we can afford a lot of the equipments we have. If my country should attack Jamaica, our Coast Guard, the Trinidad Coast Guard, would be able to defeat the Jamaica Coast Guard. We have more vessels and ours is faster than the JDF Coast Guard, and we have the same weapons on them. I am a citizen of the Trinidad and Tobago. I once lived in Jamaica. I have a lot of friends in the JDF. Some information I received from them. I don't hate Jamaica. I do world military researches.